Hello friends, thank you for clicking the KGB65 channel. I'd like to show you my latest gun related project. This one is an alternative to the Hoppy's Boresnake. I know when you saw this stuff in the opening scene you probably thought, oh no, not another Boresnake video, but these things are really nice. I like them a lot, I use them all the time. But you know, what if you don't feel like spending $17 or $20 for one of these and you just want to make your own? So I thought, what kind of stuff do I have laying around that I could use to make a custom cleaning device similar to Boresnake, only doesn't cost anything really. You know, I've got a bunch of these bronze bristle brushes in just about every caliber, and I've got lots of 550 paracord, so I thought, well, there's my answer. Originally I was going to try and duplicate one of these, but without having to get out the sewing machine and all that, and have just the right size cordage for this. They're kind of elaborate because they take a piece of rope and they take the core out of the braid, and then they feed this end back and stitch it right here, and then they bury one or more bronze cleaning brushes right in the braid there, and then they take what looks like a piece of 550 paracord, that's D-cord, you can tell because it's real soft and flexible, and sew that on there. After folding that up, on the end is a brass weight with the caliber stamped. So anyway, you know what a Boresnake is. So the project was to come up with something kind of expedient that I could just make with what I had laying around here. There's one aspect of these Boresnakes I don't like. You know, when you gotta drop this weight down the bore, especially on a rifle. This is a rifle Boresnake. I think that's 30 caliber, yeah. I don't like having to tip the firearm on end and use gravity to lower that down, because you know, you clean from the breech end. You know, what do you do with the muzzle? You put it on your shoe, or you know, usually when I'm cleaning a gun, it's usually in a cleaning stand, you know, some kind of a fixture, or it's laid flat on a bench, and it's kind of a hassle to have to tip the thing up all the time, and you're holding it over the concrete floor, and God help you if you drop it on the muzzle, you destroy the crown. So even a handgun, even a little 3-inch barreled 44 Magnum like this, it would be nice to just have something I can feed through from this end. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a custom device for doing that. And what I'll do is, okay, we'll make this for 5-inch barrel. I want something stiff to go inside of the paracord. And I'm going to use 12 gauge insulated copper wire. You could probably use, you know, a variety of things. I've also got weed whacker, you know, trimmer string here. That'll work. Actually, when you use weed whacker string, you really, if you got anything longer than this, you actually have to straighten the stuff because it's all coiled. What I do is I hold between two needle nose pliers, and then I heat it with a torch carefully until it's real hot, and then I just hold it straight. Anyway, this is going to be the wire core though. I mean, really any kind of wire. You could use a solid piece of copper, or maybe even a wire coat hanger would work for this. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to decide how long we want to make our paracord. So you cut it, and I like to give her the old butane back splice here on the part that I'm not using. Make sure that your core and your braid are melted together, otherwise your core could slip inside, and that would massively derate your paracord. But anyway, now you'll notice that the core actually pops out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the core. The other end is still together, and cut that off. And now you can just grab hold of this and slip that right off. So there's your core material. You can discard that. And before we proceed, we don't want this to unravel. You don't want the braid to unravel, so I'm going to heat that a little bit. But just a little bit, because if you do it too much, it's going to close in. You just kind of push it on. If you have too much weight hanging on the end, it's going to pull it together like a Chinese finger trap and it won't let it go on. If these are really long, you might even want to put a little oil on there or something to lubricate it. But the longer it is, the harder it is, so you just keep working it up there, and sometimes that can be, take some patience. You just kind of work it that way and then pull this back, and I'm almost there already. And another thing you can do is I've done it this way too, is you can melt a 22 shell on there. Just kind of work it on there. Then you take your torch or your lighter. Torch is a lot faster. I'm trying not to heat my get up into my camera here. Woo! I just heat the shell till it changes color a little bit, but actually it expands. The gas of the melting plastic will expand, and it'll actually push the shell right off the end, because it's off-gassing. So as soon as you see it start to move, you want to hurry up and hold it on. So right now that's melted on there. And that's kind of a nice tidy way of holding that together. That way the wire doesn't slip out of the braid there of your 550. And then you just screw this right on the 550 cord, because it'll actually catch the thread. It's like the perfect size for it. And you can see that's on there. And there's that Chinese finger trap effect again, but if you want it to be a little bit more permanent, just give it a little bit of heat. It actually will work almost like a shrink wrap. You can just heat that brass part right there, and the heat will get into it. And now you can actually change the brush. You don't have to make a whole new thing here. You can thread that in and out. It's just like a plastic cleaning rod, sort of. It'll hold. I have not had one come off yet, so you don't have to worry about that no matter how hard you pull on that, because it does get tighter. So now, once you get to this point, you can kind of see how this works. You just push it from the back side, grab the front, and it comes right through. But we don't have anything to wipe the bore yet. We just have the brass. So now there's an option here. Two different ways you can do it. One way, if you have one of these forceps, or actually a fine needle nose pliers will work too. You can start a hole right through your braid with a toothpick. You kind of work that around. It really doesn't take that much time. And then you can stick your forceps through that hole like that. And I'll grab a cleaning patch with the end of the forceps. Just grab it right on the corner. You stick it through till it stretches the braid, and pull it back. Open it up a little bit. Grab the corner and just pull it through. You just keep putting these cleaning patches, or you can use a old cotton t-shirt or whatever you have. Just make sure that you don't go too big on these, because if you get this thing jammed in there, they can really get tight. You want to leave enough on this end. Keep your patches far enough away from the very end so you can get your fingers on it, or wrap it around something and pull if it does get stuck in there. There's a different way that you can put these on too. If you have enough bore diameter, you don't have to even use this method. What you can do is you just put a slip knot in here. Just go like this, make a loop, and stick a bite through the loop, and just kind of fold that a little bit, stick it through there, and pull it tight. Here's my 22 version. For this one, I actually just took some of the insulation off the wire and I soldered the ends of the wire together here, retrimmed it, and then I slid it over into the braid of the 550 cord, and I used some Gorilla Glue to hold the whole thing together. Just get it kind of wet because that activates the glue. I have nothing on the end there. Here's the miniaturized version. I think I like this one even better. I didn't bother with the 22 shell on the end. I just heated it up and it works really smooth and slick for polishing up the chambers in this revolver cylinder. You can do all 6 in no time and works great for the bore too. Notice I took the end patch, I made it longer and narrower, and I just kind of folded it over both sides of the brush. That works nice too. This video seems to be running longer than I had originally planned, so I'm going to end it here. But hopefully you got some ideas from watching this so you can come up with alternatives to the Boresnake for firearms that by their design make it very difficult to clean from the back end. Firearms that you can't get a cleaning rod into, like revolvers. Thanks a lot for watching.